All right, folks, welcome to the fourth episode of Orchestrating for the Cycles of Pain for the band Angra. I'm Antonio Teoli, and if you haven't watched the previous episode, please do because there's a lot of things that I discussed in the previous episode that I won't be discussing here, so you might be feeling a little bit out of context. Today we will be working on the track called "Gods of the World." I keep saying "Gods of the War" but that's another track that I'm working on. "Gods of the World." It's a very cool track from Angra for Cycles of Pain, and a little bit of a history behind. I remember when Felipe sent me this track. Um, it did not have any kind of indication of for orchestras or synthesizers or pads or anything like that. I had this infinite Canva. At first, when I heard the track, it had this super raw, heavy metal power. And I told Felipe, I say, man, don't you think we should keep this song like raw, so this song can breathe a little bit in terms of like arrange like big epic arrangements. And Felipe said, "No, man, do what you do best," and that's what I did. I basically took the challenge, and when he was talking to me a little bit of the concept behind of the song, you know, all of these gods of these folks who control the world, right? Either politicians, powerful people, whatever. Uh, I wanted to create something that would come from a perspective of a battle, which means we have these epic choirs. We do have the orchestrations, the orchestra like we had in Generation Warriors, for example. It's actually a very similar mentality here. But you hear in the verse that is not very clear in the music that is in the album because it's a little bit low. But you hear that I created this melodic line that gives this idea of that something bad is about to happen, and also has this kind of like laboratory feeling like something is being created in the laboratory or something is being planned, like a conspiracy thing, right? Um, the other thing that I want to point it out to you is every time I've heard a tan tan tan, right? For me, that was the main motif of the song. And coming from a background of a game composer and movie composer in the past 20 plus years, working with a late motif, it's very helpful, very efficient, and it's just cool. Especially in terms of like when the listener already listened that motif for the first time, and then the motif keeps repeating. The listener already, the brain already have the feeling like, oh, I know this, so you feel extra connected to the music. So music is art, right? But there is always a little bit of science behind. Uh, so when we, at least for me, I'm saying this about for myself, not for anyone of the band or anyone else. But every time that I'm composing something, I know exactly, or most of the times exactly, or I believe I know what to do to make sure the audience will go towards a direction. That's my job. Um, so I was at this time that when I was orchestrated this, I was binging Attack on Titan, and oh boy, I cried so much in the last episode when I watched a few weeks ago. Freaking genius guy, man. I forgot the name of the composer for Attack on Titan, but my god, amazing. But if you watch Attack on Titan, the opening, we have this choir always very syncopated, and I wanted to bring something similar to that as well. So without further ado, let me just make sure my OBS is recording because I just missed, excuse me, a whole recording of this episode. Now I'm redoing, and I'm a little bit pissed off. All right, it is recording. So what I will do here is basically play the introduction without the band. By the way, I want to point it out, Felipe, I never received the bass track from this song, man. Never. I only have voice, guitar, and drums, and a monitor version. Never received the bass, man. Okay, here we go, guys. There we go. So you basically heard all of this. Tan, tan, ta-da. So the motif keeps repeating. And the song develops around that. And almost every time that this motif plays, I go full blast. So yeah, so basically, before I move on, I'm basically using a similar palette here. A lot of time from orchestral tools, damage from Heaviosity, some solo strings from Spitfire, some ensembles from Metropolis Arc, voice from ADO, a lot of stuff from Heaviosity. I'm using Cube, which has a very cool sound. Let me just play here. See, you have this kind of like movement that follows the BPM of the song, so it's very cool to create movement. Some Omnisphere, the Solar, which I use later on in the track. I think during the Solar it has this like interesting sound. See, like, and then a lot of stuff from ADO as well, from boomers to basically, you know, big bums. And the most important sound here, I always wanted to use this on a heavy metal song. I actually use thunder sound effects because, come on, it's heavy metal. It's pretty cool, right? All right, so there we go. So now we're going to the verse, and as I say in the verse, I did this. It's subtle here. It's more emphasized later on, but I did this ostinato. There we go. Then we have the bridge, which it's basically just like triads as far as I remember. Nothing fancy. You know how well and you have this movement from Cube, which is very cool. Then we have the choir, right? Or the main riff, or at least a part of the choir. There we go. So we go back to the verse here. Very similar arrangement, but now with more instruments. No one is perfect in this world. See, tan tan ta da. There you go. Just basically the same thing as before. Now, when you come to the choir, sorry, the chorus, we have all the choir playing bombastically, and you notice that I go pa pa da pa 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 da pa pa da pa. I keep repeating, but at some point, I was like, oh, it's too repetitive. So there is a section that I decided to go down. So pa pa da pa 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 da. Something like that. I suck singing. Please don't mind. It's horrible. Every time I sing, someone dies. It's bad. But you get the gist of it. So here it goes. There we go. Then it's pretty much a section with just the band. By the way, I'm gonna try to skip as much as I can the band playing along, because I again, this is not the final version and I don't want to expose the guys. So I'm gonna move on here. So again, I knew that this whole section, it's that instrumental part from Angra, and basically I wanted to respect this, so I did this kind of like dynamic arrangement. So there's a part where the strings are doing some ostinato, just following the guitar riff. Then we have some pads with lush pads and some weirdness underneath. And then anyway, so there is a different sections. I do like to do that. And I do think that Angra deals with each each section of the song, from at least from my my ear perspective, differently or independently. So here goes the other section here from the instrumental area. So yeah, so this section we have the fantastic guitar solo, and I basically emphasize dun dun that the guitar does, but I added this again, the solar sound that I showed you before, just doing this weirdness, like wow, this glissandi. It's just pretty cool. It just brings this kind of like weirdness, and it feels a lot like a preparation for this section here, which that's when we have that amazing super fast guitar solo, right? So it feels like a transition section to this moment, which I do think it's the epic section of the music on the instrumental section of the song. People. There you go. Then I have the bridge again, which is chop chop, right? Same as before. Then there is a string as a new element. This weirdness. There we go. All right, folks. That was the Gods of the Word song. Fantastic song, very heavy metal, very cool. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have any questions, just, I don't know, shoot a message, post a message here. I'm not too much into this YouTuber thing. It's not my vibe. But sometimes I come here and I check people's message and I try to reply and engage in conversation. But I hope you enjoyed this, and make sure to listen to the album out there. It's on all the streaming platforms. Make sure to buy the CD for the band. And yeah, see you in the next one. Cheers.